All right. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, 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 Call Halayim Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, which orders is truth. Honors and salutations are also to Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, laboring in honesty, sincerity, charity, and sound doctrine. And to the dead in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because they shall arise first. And to the Aquathib and the children that believe on the true name of the Father and the Son, which the Father's name is Yahweh, he exists. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai, he is the deliverer, because he's going to deliver us out of this captivity that we're in. My name is Ma Ka'ala Bun Gad Bun Yasharala with the Watchman Philadelphia camp here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Back at you with another lesson. And hey man, it's getting heated right now. It says Turkey threats to hold U.S. nukes hostage. You know, because Trump is slapping sanctions on these people left and right. People getting tired of it. All these different countries getting tired of it. So you know, that makes me think of Ezekiel. I want to say the 38th chapter, because Russia's basically being a guard to all these different nations and smaller nations, and they're being a guard to Turkey too. That's why these other countries, you know, are coming back or lashing out at America. Like, yo, man, like we tired of it. You know, like the scripture said, I believe it's Habakkuk say, let the weak say that I am strong. You know, so they're getting their weapons ready and prepared to come at America at any cause, man. You know, and what's that? Obadiah. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick, and then I'm gonna hop into the scripture. Hop into the video. But this is Obadiah 1:7. Real fast. Give me 1 second. This is Obadiah chapter 1 verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy. All right, now let's get that word. Confederacy, covenant, alliance, pledge, between men, treaty, alliance, league, man to man, constitution, ordinance. All right, so they had alliance with each other. They're allies. You know, they supposed to be cool. They made a covenant or an agreement or certain things. All right. So it says, and America has a covenant with a lot of people. They have allies, like, you know, one of them is the state of Israel. You know, you got America has a lot of allies, man. Let's put it that way. And I believe Turkey's one of them. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. So, hey, man, Turkey's at peace with America. All right. It says, but now they not want to be at peace with America, because America's on some bully shit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we run shit right now. You gonna give us what we want. You know, if not, we're taking it. You know? So it says, and it says, deceive thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right. So let's hop into this video, you know, with this whole situation going down. Lord's willing, you get something out of it.
We start this afternoon with high tension between so-called allies. Well, Turkey's foreign minister is threatening to kick the United States out of a key air base if the Trump administration moves ahead with sanctions. Now, the NATO ally has been criticized by Washington for a military operation in Syria's north and plans to buy a Russian-made defense system. Now, according to reports, this was sparked by the news that the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is debating a bill to penalize Turkey's energy and financial industries. Adding fuel to all this tension, this base is home to a number of U.S. nuclear weapons, as we have covered here on the show in the past. But we need to go further in depth, and we bring in former Pentagon official Michael Maloof on this. Michael, this just is coming across, and obviously there's been added tension, building tensions, but this is actually going to be something that the Turkey's now looking into. The U.S. military maintains about 50 nuclear gravity bombs on a base within Turkey. If the Turkish government takes control of these bases, what happens to the troops on those bases, but also these nuclear bombs?
Well, first of all, the sanctions have to pass in order for the Turks to take action. They have threatened to take action. If that happens, a number of things will happen. Number one, Turkey has threatened to take back bases. The nuclear weapons that are there, they're tactical weapons. They'll probably be moved out, and the U.S. will have to look for alternative locations for bases. Now, they've been doing this. They've been scouting around. They've invested a lot of money in refurbishing a base in Jordan, and they're thinking from a strategic standpoint to move their forces more toward Greece, which will offer another conflict between the Turkish and
What about
Greece.
Poland in that? Because I've heard Poland they've also have some
Well,
possibility
that's
looking in that
part of
area.
NATO. But here's the consequence: if we move with sanctions and pass them, and the Congress passes them, the president will probably attempt to veto, but I think that veto will be overridden, which will then send a major signal to the Turks that the U.S. no longer has confidence in Turkey as a NATO member. And the reason why we had nuclear weapons in Turkey in the first place is to show confidence that the Turkey was part of the NATO structure and a kumbaya moment and friendship. But if all that confidence goes away, that will then drive Turkey more toward Russia.
You know what's interesting about this is it was a bipartisan bill, both Republicans and Democrats pushing it, except in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, you had Rand Paul, as expected, but also Ted Cruz, Mike Lee. You had some staunch conservatives saying this is a bad idea, a bad bill, especially if the White House is aligned with them. So I'm going, okay, who's pushing it? I look at their agenda. What do you think is going to be the immediate response of the United States if Turkey says, you know what, you want to act this way, you're out of our country?
Well, they will be disinvited. They're going to have to move out. Then they will move their bases to other locations that I pointed out earlier. Now, what's interesting is that when we took out Baghdadi, we didn't leave from from Incirlik. We left from a base in Iraq, which meant we had to cross all of Syria, which shows that already we're acting as though we're no longer relying on Incirlik all that much.
But that's where our nukes are housed.
But they can move them out.
But they can, but that's still going to be, obviously, I don't think that can get smooth moving.
Then that's a show of lack of confidence, and that'll be another signal to Turkey. But I don't think that'll happen unless and until the legislation is passed. The president attempts to veto, but it's overridden. If it's overridden, then we're going to see some new fireworks.
Well, and that's what's kind of interesting in all of this, because you do have two members of NATO, and then we just finished the meeting there. You would have think that maybe they could have brought some peace between this relationship and calm things down. Obviously, nothing happened productive in this arena. Should there be an emergency meeting of NATO called if this route starts to go down?
Well, I think they're going to have a meeting and try to placate Turkey somehow. And I think the president, for his part, he can decide whether or not to implement sanctions as required. But, there we go again. He can be impeached once again for not abiding by the law, the intent of Congress, abuse of power. I mean, we can hear it all over again.
Well, let's talk about the reset of power within the Middle East, because obviously Turkey, having the United States in your corner is a very good thing.
Yeah.
If it shows that Turkey doesn't, what does that do to the power structure and already the tension and the fighting that's going on?
We're already seeing a shift in the geostrategic alignment by the United States. It is moving more. It's investing much more now in Greece, in the Aegean and in the Mediterranean, away from reliance on Turkey, and more, and even looking to watch the trying to keep the Russians out of the Balkans, out of the Mediterranean as much as possible, and that's what's going to force Turkey to gravitate more toward. Now, if we move those toward Russia, if we move those nukes out, that then allows Turkey to consider bringing in more missiles from Russia. I mean, and then the Russians
growing their strength within the region,
within Turkey,
right, into that side of it.
And so this is going to really alter the balance of power in that region.
But ultimately, some are accusing Erdogan of basically trying to reinstitute the Ottoman Empire and consolidate
all
that.
That's been going on for some time.
And so is that ultimately what his goal is? And does he accomplish that if he does allow another superpower, even though he's pushing the United States out, by allowing Russia to come in? All you're doing is basically saying, I'm still going to be the weaker one of this relationship.
Yeah, but his beef will be more with Saudi Arabia. He wants to be the chief spokesman for the Sunnis, and you can see his activities now toward Libya, even though it's against the Saudis. So he is trying to expand his influence. We see him in a base in Qatar now, and so he is trying to expand. ultimately, I think that safe zone in Syria is ultimately going to become part of Turkey eventually, because that keeps a barrier with the Kurds, but at the same time, it's part of his notion of taking back what existed prior to the Ottoman in terms of what was Turkey.
Well, there's definitely some shifting sands of power right now.
Tremendous.
And it's interesting to see that Congress actually is one of those that's possibly got the biggest shovel right now.
They're basically taking the president's ability to conduct foreign policy out of his hands, and they're running foreign policy, which is a major shift that's going to happen.
And it's scary because we are talking about ultimately nuclear bombs that are in limbo right now in this case. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
Pleasure.
It's hard to clear through the debris.
Yeah, you got it, man.
That is real news.
This thing is heating up, man. Let me stop this. But yeah, this thing is heating up, man, and they trying to block Russia from doing a whole lot of things, which they're not going to be able to do. Because I stated earlier about, the book, the 38th chapter, You read that, it tells you how Russia's going to be a guard to all these different nations, and that's what they're doing, man. But hey, man, America, the Lord actually putting a spirit on these people, to move the way they move, and ultimately, man, this place is going down, man. All we can do is sit back, watch, and enjoy the show, and pray to Yahweh Shem Shine that you on the right side of those nukes, man. Because this is only for the elect, man. The rest is going to be blinded, man. And the 1/3 is going to get saved, but what by the faith of the elect, man, the women and children, So with that, man, I hope this lesson was edifying. Hope you got something out the video. Until the next lesson, I'm going to say shalom and